Hi. Today I'm gonna look at a term, Dark Night of the Soul, because for about 2 years now it's been wandering around my mind, and I just wanna get some clarity on it and just speak about it. Now, all of us go through different stages of getting to know who we are really. And for me, the dark night of the soul is a place where it's darkest before the day breaks. It's a place of transitioning from that place where you once were, that school of thought, and you're now graduating to a new place, but you just quite haven't got there yet. And so I feel like I've been in the dark night of the soul now for perhaps a year, maybe longer. And if you feel like you're in the dark night of the soul as well, then, sometimes I find myself saying, you know, I've done all this work, I've done all this looking within myself, within the inner self, deeper and deeper. I've done all this contemplation on spiritual matters. I've tried to reconnect with nature. I've, started using more herbs, um, doing my meditations, um, you know. And even after doing all this, sometimes I feel, yeah, there's been some growth, but sometimes I feel worse off than I did before I started all this, seeking and searching for truth since I started on my spiritual journey. And maybe some of you might feel like I do. Sometimes you feel like you get a bit depressed because you feel, you know, why did I bother in the first place? You know, incidents can happen, during your day, and you think, oh, why do I even want to, be passionate about humanity anymore? I feel fed up. I feel like I've took two steps forward and one step backwards, and you feel disheartened and you just want to leave this whole thing because it just feels like hard work. And I just want to say that that's what the dark night of the soul is. It's a place where you've left your old life, but you haven't quite got to your new life yet, and you feel like I can't go any further. I feel like you know you've reached a brick wall if you feel like that. And you think, well, what comes next? What comes next in all this? You know, I can't find a purpose in all this searching. Well, this is the dark night of the soul. It's the darkness before the day breaks. It's the early hours of the morning. And these hours are often very, very bleak indeed. It's not the daybreak and it's not the dawning. It's just very, very dim. So, what should we do when we're in this dark night of the soul? This, what should we do when we get to this place of transition, the place of not knowing what comes next? when you've reached loggerheads, when you've come to a standstill. And what I suggest we do is be at that standstill, be at that gridlock in your life, and just stay there and just wait. Just wait in that place of transition. When you find yourself in that place of the abyss, like I have, that place of uncertainty, that place of not having that new life set up yet, and the movement of the old life has stopped. When you get to that point on your spiritual journey, the best thing for you to do is to wait. Continue doing your preparation, your meditations, your, you know, all your spiritual preparation, keeping your dream journals, reconnecting with nature. Just continue doing what you're doing at the moment and keep going deeper and deeper within yourself, within the self, because, that's when you're just on the edge, on the verge of enlightenment. That's when it occurs. It's actually, a good time when you find yourself that you can't go any further forward, and you're not going to go back to your old lifestyle. It's it's a time of being reborn. It's a time of having a second chance in the same body, and a time to, embrace your new beliefs. So while you're leaving and you're still waiting for your new lifestyle, there's going to be a dead zone, there's going to be deadlock and spiritual deadlock. I don't want you to be alarmed. I don't want you to be afraid or to fear anything. And I don't want you to try and force anything to happen. You know, at this time, perseverance is the key. Well, that's what I found anyway. And just waiting and persevering is what we're meant to do in this dark night of the soul. As the daybreak draws nearer and the night is almost over, that's when you're on the cusp of enlightenment. I don't want you to throw in the towel. I don't want you to give up. Persevere. I mean, it's really hard. It's difficult. You know, to make changes in your life, but soon you realize that, like I've started to realize, and I realized that, you know, you never probably needed the journey in the first place. It's very ironic how, after searching and searching for years and years, and then when you finally, realize that you always had the answer right there within you, right there, that you didn't need to go searching. So when you're confronted with this dark night of the soul, it's okay. Um, you haven't missed anything. You're in the right place right now for where you're meant to be. In that moment of deadlock, you know, spiritual deadlock occurs just as any other spiritual experiences occur. It's not always going to be bliss, and it's not always going to be, you know, exciting. Sometimes we just have to be still and wait, because, there's a lot of restructuring going on right now across the universe, and each one of us is the center of our own universe. So, what occurs in the dark night of the soul for one person might be slightly different for what happens for another. But just as any other spiritual test we might have to undergo, it does occur, and you know, there's a lot of work going to be ahead of all of us. There's a lot of people out there who will be needing us in the future. And while we feel like nothing's really happening in our lives, and we've done all this work, we've done all this searching, all this meditation, and nothing's happening, you know, it's best just to rest and really just enjoy the time you've got for yourself, because in the future you're going to be very, very busy. Some people reckon there's going to be a DNA upgrade, some kind of cellular restructuring. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but humanity as a whole is going to need, they'll be looking for people who have got some kind of inkling as to what's going on. And they'll, you know, they'll be looking for us to, you know, give clarity. So while you can rest, rest. And that's what the dark night of the soul is. It's the dawning before the morning. And it's a time for you to just be at peace and just wait. So thank you again for joining me. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you again next time. Peace.